We live in a wild time. We have global conflicts going on, chaotic climate, and all the while we're wrestling with the emergence of AI. Science and technology are standing at the precipice of what's to come next in our reality. The primitive technology needed to make cyborgs is already here. The foundation for the tech of the future has already been thought of. We are living at the cusp of when technology and biology merge, which makes this whole thing both terrifying and awe-inspiring. Hi, my name is Vornite. Welcome to the show. Lately, I've been thinking about technology and its capabilities. Thinking about a world inhabited by biomechanical life forms. Think of it like the world in Horizon Zero Dawn, where animals are a mixture of biology and technology, but also nature itself is imbued with biosynthetic material. Up until recently, this was just a dream, a version of reality that was just too far-fetched to be real. But as it turns out, it may not be as far-fetched. Although the tech is in its primitive stage, we now have biological devices that can learn and perform tasks that were once reserved for the most advanced silicon chips available. For decades, we've relied on silicon to design and manufacture our computer chips, and we've gotten pretty far with silicon tech. However, silicon does have its limitations. In a conventional computer system, you will find a configuration that includes a CPU, RAM, and some form of storage device. When you run an application, the data needs to travel from the storage device through the RAM and onto the CPU. The movement of data across multiple chips requires a lot of energy. This in turn creates an enormous amount of heat that we need to take care of. Both of these hurdles can be addressed with bioengineering. Organoids are one way to do it. This is where it gets wild for me. Organoid brains store and process information in the same place at the same time. These tiny brains, organoids, have the ability to process information just like our brains would, which eliminates the heat problem we have with silicon. Brain organoids are made with human stem cells that we grow in a dish until it develops synapses and connections that mimic the human brain. You can teach the organoids how to compute the data, and they can also learn on their own. You can also learn to play games like Pong, how to fly a butterfly in a virtual world. Even though organoids are tiny brains, they are not conscious, at least not yet. But they can compute information in the same fashion our brains can. They are, however, noticeably slower when compared to a human brain, but they're still very efficient. Like brains, they don't need an SSD or RAM to process anything. Information just flows through the brain. Let me run through that again. A computer installs software in a storage device, and when we need to use that software, data has to be transferred from the storage device all the way back to the CPU through the RAM. The entire process, back and forth between storage and CPU, needs a lot of energy, and that creates a lot of heat. Our brains and organoids process and store data in the same place, which means that they don't generate any heat. On top of that, brain organoids have neuroplasticity, which allows them to constantly adapt to new ways of computation. In silicon chips, all the connections are set in stone, and there's no plasticity nor adaptability. Neuroplasticity makes brain-like mechanisms ideal for AI, but the cost and lifespan of these organoids makes them less than ideal for now. Lucky for us, organoids aren't the only efficient biological option. We can also use mushrooms. We all know mushrooms are magical. They provide us with nutrition and even building materials for things like bricks and packaging.
Mycelium, the root structure of fungi, is shaking up everything from sustainable construction to meatless bacon. It's turning agricultural waste into walls, hemp into compostable packaging, and fungal threads into leather that even luxury brands are eyeing.
Mycelium can be used as a computational device and to some extent mimic a human brain's network. This fungal chip is called a memory store. You know, like memory and resistor combined, memory store. Alright. Much like brain organoids, memory stores can also store and compute information in the same place. There are some differences between the brain organoids and memory stores. They can still perform just about the same computational tasks as organoids, but they can't create new connections on the fly like the brain does. Organoids work with synaptic weights to run computations, while a memory store uses resistance states to run its computation. Think of these as different ways to write the same information. Organoids and memory stores use their own language to process information. Who would have thought that we would see brain-like organisms and mycelium being used as computer chips, right? It's just so wild to think about. And even though these biochips already exist, they are not capable of running at scale. It'll be a while before we get into the biosynthetic future. And in the meantime, we will have to wrestle with the limitations found in silicon for a bit longer. Luckily, we have some incredible people on our side, tirelessly developing and inventing new technology for the world. IMEC, a nanoelectronics and digital technology lab headquartered in Belgium, has been at the cutting edge of what is possible in chip design and manufacturing. These engineers are working at an atomic level, literally playing with the building blocks of our reality just to create new computer chips. That's insane. Technology is so microscopic that light particles are just too big for them to bounce off of.
So those are atoms. You can see them here.
What you see right now is a glimpse into one of the humanity's most advanced, tiniest creations.
And now if we zoom in, we can see these single atoms of the channel.
And this view is as close to the heart of the chip as you can get. And this channel is about 30 atoms thick. When I saw this, I just froze. Because this was the physical limit of reality right in front of me.
The old sci-fi stories are slowly starting to materialize in our world. I just wanted to share this with you, show you how far we've come already and what it could mean for us in technology. I wanted to invite you to the conversation, and ask, what else can we expect? Will we be able to create cyborgs sooner than we expected? I don't know. Thank you for watching. I hope you found something of value in this video and that you enjoyed what you watched. Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Till next time, peace.